Okay, so let's get into it today. We're tackling something huge, like foundational IQ.
Right, this thing everyone just kind of accepts.
Exactly. But we've got this source, Nassim Nicholas Taleb. Pretty intense dude.
Oh yeah, doesn't hold back.
He calls IQ, and I quote, largely a pseudoscientific swindle.
Boom, just like that.
A swindle. Man, that's not just criticism. That's like tearing down the whole building. My head's already spinning a bit. A swindle.
It is pretty wild. And what's fascinating is how deep he goes, just dismantling, the whole idea that this is some reliable measure.
So wait, his argument is IQ isn't even for finding smart people. He says it's for spotting extreme unintelligence, learning difficulties.
Via negativa, he calls it.
Via negativa. So it's a test to find the least dumb people, not the actual Einsteins. That feels completely backwards.
That's the point he's making. He says it mainly picks out exam takers, paper shufflers, obedient IYIs, intellectuals, yet idiots, his term. He even jokes this should be called the functionary quotient, or salary person quotient. Good for BS jobs, as he puts it.
So it finds good little worker bees, not big thinkers.
That seems to be the implication. Cogs, not creatives.
But okay, hold on. Is it even a proper measure then? In a science way? Like, does it work? My vibe isn't a scientific measure, is IQ. This is making my brain do weird loops.
Well, that's where the math comes in, or rather, the flaws in the math. Taleb points out some serious statistical problems.
Like what?
Like the R-squared, the correlation between IQ and, say, wealth or income. He says it's effectively zero.
Zero. But people always link them.
He argues they're wrong statistically. Says IQ beats picking randomly by less than 6%, often under 2%. It's tiny.
Wow. Okay.
And then there's stuff like dead man bias, issues with fat tails in the data, basically saying the standard stats people use just don't apply properly here. But the real kicker, he says, you are 2/3 of a standard deviation away from yourself if you retake the test.
Wait, what? Say that again?
The same person can get, usually different scores.
Seriously?
Yeah. So if one person can't even get a consistent score, how can it possibly measure whole populations reliably?
Okay, that feels pretty damning. So the people pushing this stuff are either really bad at stats?
Yeah. Or maybe something else is going on. Yeah.
Because Taleb goes there, he straight up calls out racist eugenists, using it as cover.
He does. He explicitly links it to certain groups and publications, calling it a cover for a sinister eugenics program. That's his wording.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
That's heavy. And he tears apart the idea of national IQ, too. Says it's basically fraud.
How so?
Huge variance, first off.
Yeah.
Too much scatter to mean anything. And sometimes they just guess a country's IQ based on ethnicity if there's no data.
What? That's not science.
He calls it pure fraud and says it doesn't explain real stuff, like how Ireland or Croatia changed economically or differences between, say, Israeli and U.S. Ashkenazis.
Right. Reality doesn't fit the model.
Exactly. He argues it's used by racist imbeciles to justify things like immigration bans, showing they don't get basic stats like variance.
So if you want to know if someone can actually, do something, play tennis, run a business, loan sharking, you just see if they can do it. You don't give them some weird test made by probability challenge psychologists. Seems kind of obvious when you put it like that.
That's the core of his real life versus academia point. We don't need these abstract tests for real-world skills.
It's just life already sorts people out.
Pretty much. Real filters exist, like needing a degree for medicine or just proving you can do the job. Relying on IQ, he says, is unnecessary and actually screens out potential geniuses like Einstein or Feynman who might bomb the test format.
So it's about what you actually do, not some score on a screen.
Performance equals actual. That's the idea.
Man. Okay. So wrapping this up.
Okay.
What does this all mean for you listening? This whole deep dive just kind of detonated the IQ concept, didn't it?
It really challenges it, yeah.
It's flawed mathematically, maybe designed for the wrong thing, used for some really messed up purposes. It barely even works consistently. And it definitely doesn't tell you if someone's a real-world genius or just, a good test taker.
And maybe the final thought here is, if this specific measure, this IQ thing we trusted, is this broken and misused, how much should we really trust any single number to define someone's potential?
Right. Maybe the real test isn't a test at all.
Maybe it's just navigating the world.
Yeah.
This messy, complex world that doesn't fit in neat little boxes. How well do you do that?